Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to talk about the Ayurvedic perspective on fevers, right? It's winter, it's flu season, people are dropping left and right, and you don't want to get sick with them. I don't blame you. So, what is at the root of fever, and what can you do to prevent it? Good questions, right? Okay, so diving right in Ayurveda, fever is called jwara, which you don't really have to know, but sometimes it's cool to know weird things like Sanskrit names for fever. And from the Ayurvedic perspective, it is really all about weak digestion. That's right, at its root, fever is caused by not digesting your food well. What happens? Well, the undigested food stuff in your body, called ama, actually spreads throughout your organism. It prevents you from sweating, and it makes you susceptible to illnesses or airborne pathogens because your digestion is subsequently weakened. When you have strong digestion, you don't get sick. It sounds weird, but it's true. Like, everybody I know who's totally good, that they can eat anything, right? And how can we use that knowledge to prevent ourselves from getting sick? Well, if you're getting sick frequently, then you need to look at what food combinations you're eating and whether or not you're exercising regularly. So there are a couple factors that we always look at when deciding or assessing the state of a person's digestive capacity. And those include, do you exercise? And what is your daily routine? Do you have one? And then we look at food combining. So it's kind of in that order. So when you're getting sick a lot, you're probably not doing one of these things correctly. Now, what does that mean? You're not doing it correctly? Well, unfortunately, that really depends on your constitution type. You could be exercising too much. You could be exercising too little. You could be too locked into a routine that is simply taxing for your body. You don't have the energy for it. Or you don't have a routine at all and you're just kind of like, meh. You know, these are all problematic. So it's really hard for me to give one solution because there are so many variables that we have to consider. Okay, so you have a fever. What do you do now? Well, at this point, it is so important to fast. And I really recommend drinking a lot of fresh ginger tea, not so much powdered ginger, because that can be really, really heating. If you already have a fever, especially a high one, you don't want to increase it, whereas fresh ginger you have a little more leeway with, right? And this has to do with the different post-digestive effects of fresh versus dried ginger, another topic. So, but what you really want to do is help your body burn out the ama. The ama, or undigested toxins, are what is clogging the channels of your body, preventing you from sweating. So actually, when your fever breaks is when you've started to sweat and you've burned through enough of the toxins that now your body can start to resume its normal processes. So again, fasting, drinking teas like fresh ginger decocted tea, and being really mindful that you are eating very, very light foods only if there is hunger. Again, remember that fever from the Ayurvedic perspective is really caused at its root by having poor digestive capacity. So you don't want to overload it, and it's important as you recover from fever that you take steps to build your digestion back up, right? We call your digestive capacity Agni in Ayurveda, and it is like a fire. Like, if your Agni is very low or your fire is very low, it's not the time to throw a big ass heavy log on it. It's not going to burn, right? It's going to be like a partially charred mass, and this is kind of what happens in your body when your digestive capacity is too low, right? So coming out of the fever, having soups, very easy to digest things like khichdi, and avoiding things that have the qualities of ama. So anything that is sticky, heavy, and white, like dairy. You should avoid dairy. If you are getting sick, recurring fevers, like frequently, then you really need to look at your digestion and what you're eating and your lifestyle, as we talked about. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I hope you're not getting sick, but if you are, now you know why and what to do. Thanks for joining.